here has been asked for advice? Then you give the advice to the person, and they do completely the opposite. Now, who here has asked somebody for advice that you believe in, and you get that advice, and then you do completely the opposite? Fellow Toastmasters, guest, contest chair, and fellow hardheads, I found out what softens that hard head. I've read several books, I listened to motivational speeches, and the one book that stood out to me was The Influencer. And in that book, it says that there is two things that goes through a person's head when they're faced with a change or any type of option, a thing to do. It is it worth it? And can I do it? Can I do it? And is it worth it for me to do it? Can you do it? Yes, I believe everybody here can do it. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. So really, it comes down to, is it worth it? Example, when I was a child, I had two major flaws, of many, but two that really stand out. One was a fear of snakes. Terrified. Get petrified like a stick piece of wood if I saw a snake. Number two, I would leave things all over the house. All over the house, all over the yard. Toys, clothes, whatever I had, even plates. And this was really bad at Grandpa's house, because my grandfather had a big, luscious lawn that I loved to play in. It reminds you of Alice in Wonderland, kept by the King and Queen of Hearts, which he was both. And he would keep that lawn trimmed and clean and nice just for me to go out there and play some baseball. So I'd be out there with my bat. And we didn't have a ball because I long lost that, so I had apples. And I would grab apples off his tree and just knock it down. And when I'm done, I throw the bat down and go in the house. And I eat my cereal. Morning cereal, eating it. Boy, that's Grandpa in the yard. I know you didn't leave your little 5 and dimes all in my yard. Yes. Well, you better get them. You don't like snakes, right? No. Well, if you want me to cut this grass and not make change of your 5 and dimes, you better get them. Yes, sir. I'll get my 5 and dimes, whatever that is. And I'll pick them up, and I'll go back in the house. By that afternoon, I was back on it. Sitting there, Babe Ruth, pointing it out, grabbing the apple. Out of the park. Back goes down. Back in the house. Afternoon cereal time. Boy!
Oh, I like the cereal.
Back in the yard. Yes, Grandpa? You better get your 5 and dimes. He's smiling now. Didn't notice that then, but he's smiling. Better get your 5 and dimes out the yard, or I'm going to make change out of them like I said with the lawnmower. Yes, Grandpa. So I get the apple, knock it out the way. I grab the bat. But the bat, it turned very soft and like a noodle. And I looked, it wasn't a bat. It was a snake. Grandpa had killed the snake and laid the snake out amongst the apples. So I thought it was the bat. And I stood there with an epiphany. And it ran down my leg a little. Grandpa is crazy. And also, I shouldn't leave stuff in his yard. Now, is it worth it? Yes. Before, it wasn't. Because I wanted to play outside. And having the toys outside is where I wanted them to be. But now that I'm confronted with that snake, that changed my mind. Now, what if you're not confronted with that snake? What if you're not holding that mistake or the correct option in your hand? What if it's an opportunity? High school, I get called to the guidance counselor's office. And I'm sitting in the office, and the guidance counselor said, well, George? And she looks around just like that. We have an opportunity for you to go to minority medical camp. Okay. At UNC Chapel Hill. Has anybody heard of that school? Yeah, about half of you. UNC Chapel Hill. I don't want to go. Why not? I want to be an historian. I want to teach history. I want to be a curator. I want to be Indiana Jones. Whip and a hat to match. History Channel that came out, Indiana Jones that came out, that's all I wanted to do. But what happens when you tell principle, you don't want to do something that you should do. Then call your parents. I didn't think about that either. So I come home to this hailstorm of questions. Boy, you gonna go to camp? I forgot what the camp was about. I don't know what you're talking about, Mom. She said, boy, you better go to that minority medical camp. I don't want to go. I want to be a historian or Indiana Jones. You're going to minority medical camp. No, I don't want to go. I don't want to cut on people. You don't have to cut on people to go to medical camp. Yeah, you do. They're doctors. Well, health administrators, they just cut checks. I can cut checks. I can do that. Yeah, that made it worth it. Okay. Well, I heard your girlfriend is going to the camp. Well, Mom, that shows you what you know. I don't have a girlfriend. And she said to me, I know. You might can find one there. Good point. Good point, Mom. Good point. So I went to my minority medical camp at UNC Chapel Hill. Was it worth it? Yes. I met my high school sweetheart, who became my wife, mother of two of my boys, 8 and 6. And it's worth it. You become worthy when you realize it's worth it. Some opportunities you miss out on because you feel you're not worth it or you're not worthy. Don't have to hit bottom to make those changes. When you are dealing with addictions to food or anything else like that, they often say they got to hit bottom. It has to become worth it to you. Realize these opportunities and realize that you are worth it. And I'll leave you with this. Don't let a snake in the hand be worth more than 2 snakes in the grass. Thank you.